majority of the time when you hear B-roll, it's handheld or with a gimbal or a slider, what have you. There's some kind of movement involved. So why would you want stationary, static, hands-free B-roll? Well, there are three major reasons that I can think of. Number one, it provides variety. Sometimes you don't want every single clip to be handheld. Sometimes you want to mix in a clip or two that's static and that's at 4K and that you can digitally zoom in to certain parts of the clip wherever you want to. So that in turn makes it very suitable for product videos, product reviews, and especially tutorials. When you're doing tutorials, you are teaching information, and oftentimes people kind of just want to listen in and absorb what you're saying. So that pairs very well with static images, or at least images that don't have all that camera shake and movement from side to side, shifting all over the place. It pairs very well when you have something that is nice and stable. Number two, if you are working alone and you want to introduce movement into the products that you're working with, you can't do that when you're holding a light in one hand and the product with the other hand. Now your camera has to be on a tripod. And number three, if your camera can't shoot at 120 FPS, if you want to have the flexibility to shoot in 4K 24 FPS, and here's a quick video demonstrating and explaining all the terminology behind that if you're unfamiliar with those words. Putting your camera on a tripod is a great solution to that, because now you're going to eliminate a majority of the camera shake. Sometimes you do get a little bit of movement depending on how stable your platform is or your ground surface, wherever your tripod is. You also get less jittery footage since your camera is now on a tripod, and you also have more flexibility to shoot in post if you want to shoot at this normal 24 frames per second rate in 4K. So those are three reasons why you'd want to use these 5 techniques that I'm going to show you right now, starting with number one, the overhead shot. So for this one, you're gonna put your camera high on a tripod, and if you want that extra boost of height, I actually like to lift this part, just be really careful that it doesn't tilt over, and then angle your camera downwards. Now alternatively, if you do have an overhead rig, you can also put your camera up there as well. Now most shots will have you put items flat on the table and call it a day. That's totally fine. But here is one way, one very quick and simple way of just elevating that shot just a little bit more. You're gonna take your item, your subject, in this case I have a card from Here to Slay. You're gonna take that card and just elevate it right above the surface and hold it there. Now you're going to crank down your f-stop so you get a nice dreamy background. Now see how good that looks? Throw in some motion graphics text there, which you can also download completely free, linked in the description below. Also a thing to note here, if you have an item that has a ton of text, your eyes are going to automatically focus in on reading a lot of that text. So one way to kind of compensate for that is to actually raise your f-stop. You'll still get a somewhat decent blurry background, but because of our natural instinct to read and scan through all the text, it's actually better to make our f-stop a little bit higher, so that way all the words are in as much focus as possible. Now number two, I actually learned this one from Peter McKinnon. Actually, I learned everything from Peter, but specifically in his EDC video, we created some distance from him and the wall, and then he presented some items right in front of the camera lens. Now it sounds simple as I talk about it and describe it now, but it's those simple details that add to your overall video and will make our videos better. Now I did something similar in my last Airbender video, but I also put one light right above me so I would walk straight into the light. So now the camera would focus in right on the card as I also walk into the light at the same time, and then you pair that with some animated text and you get some clean, simple, but very cool B-roll. Hi, so here's a quick example of how you can do a makeshift version of that using the setup that I have here. So right now, I have my camera mounted on a tripod. Again, I'm elevating the legs right here, as you can see. And I have a monitor up here so I can see where I'm going and what I'm doing on the other side. And then up here, I have one single source of light. Ideally, of course, you would want to block out all that light. It's daytime right now, it's around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so of course I'm not gonna have complete isolation, but I do have one single source of light here. It is linked down below, and that is connected to my janky, as per usual, that I always talk about setup, which is a microphone stand from Amazon, and that's my only source of light. Ideally, I should also turn off my computer as well, but just to show as a quick example, I have one source of light there. I'm gonna stand right underneath it, and I'll show you what I'm doing with the cards, and I'll show you the final footage as well. Okay, so let's say for one B-roll shot, I wanna talk about the hand of cards that I have in front of me. So to show my hand, a really cool way of showing that instead of just putting it flat on the table is to have, it kind of fanned out right here, and then I'm gonna walk into the light. So as I walk into the light, I'll show you the footage right now. As I walk into the light, you kind of see that nice shimmering glow effect as the light kind of reveals itself with the cards. The more isolated your light is, then the better this effect will be. Of course, I have a ton of light sources outside of this, but ideally you want complete isolation of just darkness, and that way you can just walk directly into light and just reveal that shot. So it looks super cinematic, especially when you have kind of like an outline of you or whatever in the background, and then you kind of just reveal that isolated shot. So you just see purely your subject in focus. And what's really cool is that you can do a ton of variation to this. So I can kind of walk in from the side and reveal a hand like that. I can go from the top and then reveal like that. So basically you are your own transition. It's also a very nice way to get creative with your animated text as well, because if I come in from the side like that, maybe it'll hide some text as it comes in. So a ton of examples for you to work with. Now number 3, I've seen this one done most often with tech videos or any kind of product release videos or any videos where you're trying to build up anticipation for a certain release of a product. And that is the light reveal shot. Now for this one, you're gonna take a light, preferably one that has a slim profile, or if anything, you could just put 2 pieces of paper or cards in front of a light source, and then just fan the light across your product. Now I did this for my recent PC build video to highlight parts of the computer, but it is a great shot for building anticipation for an upcoming release, to do little teasers on Instagram, anything where you don't want to show too much detail of a product just yet. Number 4 is the focus shift shot. Now here you just gently tap on your camera's flip screen and put 2 items far apart from each other. It does work much better with a longer lens, like here I'm using the 100mm macro, which is amazing for all my board game videos. And then I'm just gonna tap on this card, wait for a couple seconds, and then tap on this other one closer to me. Now these little plastic stands I also use to highlight cards in other board games. They're not just a display for the Egyptian god cards, and they are linked down below if you are interested. Now to add a touch more detail and to give you a specific example, this shot works particularly well if you are talking about products back to back. So for example, let's say I'm talking about Rex Major, who is in the background shot here. Rex Major's ability is that each time you draw a modifier card, you may reveal it and draw a second card. He also costs a dice roll of at least 8 in order to slay this particular monster. And then I transition it and say, oh, Taratuga, and then boom, the focuses shift onto Taratuga in the foreground, closer to you, closer to the lens. And then say, oh, Taratuga requires at least a dice roll of 11 in order to slay this monster, and his effect is that your hero cards cannot be destroyed, right? So also helps to align your dialogue and whatever you're saying with the shift in focus. And lastly, probably my most used and my most favorite shot, and that is the backlit shot. Now I have mentioned this one before, but if you take a set of lights, it could be fairy lights, could be your phone. Here I am using a strip of RGB lights, and you're going to set your lens to the lowest f-stop. The lower your f-stop is, then the more dreamy patterns of light. So basically your light patterns will be bigger and bigger. And then you put your product in front of those lights. In this case, I have it on my desk, and the lights are right behind it just like this. Now if you want to elevate the shot even more, use the turntable and bam, now you have movement along with this dreamy backlighting. And those are 5 ways of filming dreamy, hands-free B-roll. Comment down below which one's your favorite and which one that you're planning on using. Now, if you like this video, if you like photography and filmmaking tips, board games, and PC building, please consider subscribing and let's grow this channel together so I can help pump out more videos like this for you. And with that, thank you all so much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day.